जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी कुंज विहार जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय निताय गौरंगा निताय गौरंगा निताय गौरंगा जय निताय गौरंगा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
भक्ति वेदांत समशील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, text number 40. अहो पृथापि ध्रियते अर्भकार्ते अहो अहो पृथापि ध्रियते अर्भकार्ते राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन यस्त्वे कवीरो धीरतो विजिज्ञे यस्त्वे कवीरो धीरतो विजिज्ञे धनुर्द्वितीया ककुभश्चतस्रः धनुर्द्वितीयः ककुभश्चतस्रः अहो पृथापि ध्रियतेऽर्भकार्ते राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन यस्त्वेकवीरोऽधिरतो विजिज्ञे धनुर्द्वितीयः ककुभश्चतस्रः अहो पृथापि ध्रियतेऽर्भकार्ते राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन यस्त्वेकवीरोऽधिरतो विजिज्ञे धनुर्द्वितीयः ककुभश्चतस्रः राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन ककुभश्चतस्रः अतो पृथार्पि धियतेऽर्भकार्के राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन यस्त्वेकवीरोऽधिरतो विजिज्ञे राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन अहो पृथापि धियतेऽर्भकार्ते राजर्षिवर्येण विनापि तेन Aho, O my Lord, Pṛthā, Kunti, Api, also, Driyate, bears her life, Arbhaka Arte, for the sake of fatherless children. Rajarshi, King Pāṇḍu, Varyena, the best. Vina api, without him. Tena, him. Yaha, one who. Tu, but. Eka, alone. Viraha, the warrior. Adhirataha, commander. Vijigye, could conquer. Dhanuhu, the bow. Dvitiyaha, the second. Kakubaha, directions. Chatasraha, four. Translation and purport by Its Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. O my Lord, is Pṛthā still living? She lived only for the sake of her fatherless children. Otherwise it was impossible for her to live without King Pāṇḍu, who was the greatest commander and who alone conquered the four directions simply with the help of a second bow. Kindly repeat. O my Lord, is Pṛthā still alive? Is Pṛthā still living? She lived only for the sake of her fatherless children. Otherwise it was impossible for her to live without King Pāṇḍu, who was the greatest commander and who alone conquered the four directions simply with the help of a second bow. Purport. A faithful wife cannot live without her lord, the husband, and therefore all widows used to voluntarily embrace the burning fire which consumed the dead husband. The system was very common in India because all the wives were chaste and faithful to their husbands. Later on, with the advent of the age of Kali, the wives gradually began to be less adherent to their husbands, and the voluntary embrace of the fire by the widows became a thing of the past. Very recently, the system was abolished, since the voluntary system had become a forcible social custom. When Maharaj Pandu died, both his wives, namely Kunti and Madri, were prepared to embrace the fire. But Madri requested Kunti to live for the sake of the younger children, the 5 Pandavas. This was agreed upon by Kunti at the added request of Vyasadeva. In spite of her great bereavement, Kunti decided to live, not to enjoy life in the absence of her husband, but only to give protection to the children. This incident is referred to here by Vidura because he knew all the facts about his sister-in-law Kunti Devi. It is understood that Maharaj Pandu was a great warrior, and he alone, with the help of a bow and arrow, could conquer the world's 4 directions. In the absence of such a husband, it was impossible, almost impossible for Kunti to live on even as a widow. But she had to do it for the sake of the 5 children. Dasanda Bhakti Vedanta Purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Maharaj Pandu, who became the successor of this dynasty, Kuru dynasty. The whole world, he was ruling the whole world. Dhritarashtra was the elder brother, but Dhritarashtra, because he was blind from birth, he could not ascend to the throne. And the second son, who was Pandu, he became the king, emperor. However, Pandu was not much interested in opulence. He was more inclined towards living a reclusive life, ascetic life. So he was not very attentive to his duties as the emperor, and because of that, the kingdom was losing away. There are many kings who started rebelling against the dynasty, who were coming off from the control and surrender of Kuru dynasty. So when Pandu saw this, he decided that he has to take the charge upon himself to again reclaim back the entire dynasty as it was handed over to him by his ancestors. So he takes the blessings and permission of Bhishma Deva and charges across the globe in all the four directions and subdues all the rebellious kings, collects taxes and wealth, and returns back to Hastinapur very valiantly and successfully. While he returns back, a great ceremony is organized. He divides the wealth that he has acquired while on his expedition to conquer the whole world and subdue all the kings amongst his brothers. And after again being reinstated as the king, he again desires, now he has to come away from all this opulence and all of that. So thus he decides to take a residence in Himalayas. And because he is not interested in opulence, he is not interested in all the luxurious life that an emperor is supposed to have. However, thus he takes a residence at Himalayas and tells both his wife to continue to live in the palace. But then wives are very chaste. They are unable to bear the separation from their loyal husband. That was a culture and tradition of that civilization. Thus they also desire, we will also come with you. So Pandu is living in a hermitage in Himalayas. Actually, they don't come at this time, they come later on. But initially Pandu is there alone in a hermitage near Himalayas. From there only he is trying to take the charge of his kingdom. So one day while he is on hunting, in the thick bushes he observes that some animal is there. And without seeing what that animal is, he shoots an arrow. And when he goes and checks what he has done, he sees that he has killed a male deer who was mating with this female deer. He was shocked for the apparent mistake that he has committed. And to his surprise, the male deer started to speak. Generally deer, they cannot speak in human language. So the male deer started to speak. So the male deer were very upset that the king had killed him and left his wife alone now. So Maharaj Pandu says, no, it is as per dharma. I am a king and I am a kshatriya. I have the right to hunt. By this hunting, I killed animals and helped sages who are disturbed by these animals. And it is also a practice of kshatriya spirit. But then the deer, who is already upset, he says, yes, it is fact that you can kill as a hunting sport, definitely as a kshatriya you can do, but then you cannot do when a living entity is having pleasure with his wife. During that intercourse, your killing is not dharma. Therefore, I curse you that whenever you seek that such a pleasure with your wife, you will be immediately killed. So Pandu was aghast. He could not understand. He could not absorb what has happened. But then he considered it as the will of providence, what has happened. He could not predict. He could not see where he is shooting his arrow, and this has happened. And the deer also says, actually the deer is not an ordinary deer. He is actually a sage, Kindama. So he was residing in the forest and he wanted to enjoy with his wife in the forest, open forest. But then if he enjoys like this as a sage, people will not appreciate him. People are a sage is openly enjoying with his wife. What kind of a ascetic he is. So that doesn't fit to the standard behavior of a sage. So therefore I transform myself and my wife into a deer. Animals, they can do anything. They don't have any special privacy. Human beings are supposed to maintain privacy. Especially sages cannot do anything such openly. So then he transformed himself into a deer. So thus there was a misunderstanding. So the deer also understands that I will not give you the curse of killing a Brahmana because you don't know that I am a Brahmana. You just saw me as a deer and you killed me. But then you will have to suffer because I was enjoying my pleasure and you disturb my pleasure. So whenever you enjoy that pleasure, you will actually also be killed. Actually, the description is given that it was a blessing of the Brahman on the Pandu, because what the mistake Pandu has committed, immediately he was punished. Whereas he would have had to suffer in future for the same mistake in a compound effect, multiple karma increases, karma bija. Now, because immediately he is being punished, he is relieved of that karma. That sin or that mistake that he has done, he is immediately relieved. So then the sage actually takes a consideration on Maharaj Pandu and he curses only on the basis of that pleasure. And then Maharaj Pandu is little upset. More upset because he has already no children who are supposed to carry forward his dynasty. That is the responsibility of a king, to ensure before he leaves an abled successor is left. A king is not nominated as a king because he is born in the royal family. Even though Maharaj Pandu is born in a royal family, it is not that he is destined to become king. He has a higher opportunity to become king provided he is qualified. That's why here his qualification is mentioned. He is the greatest commander, adhirataha vijigye. So a king has to qualify himself, a great warrior. He has to be the best among his subordinates. He cannot say, my subordinates will fight, I don't know anything. No, he has to be the best among them. Such a personality, when he is born in that royal dynasty, he gets the opportunity to become an emperor. That's why a parent who is a king is always worried whether my son will become the emperor, will have all these qualities which qualify him to become an emperor. So Maharaj Pandu, he was worried after this curse that now he cannot have any children because he will be killed. So what can be done? He was discussing with the sages, and he himself gives the idea, just like he was born because of Vyasadeva's influence. So similarly, can these sages help my wife to beget my successor? So the sages and all bless them, bless Maharaj Pandu. Yeah, we are all ready to help you. So Pandu goes and inquires from Kunti Devi, can you accept this offer? So Kunti Devi is such a loyal wife, Sati Devi, she is unable to even imagine taking such an action. But then she tells her own secret, which she had kept from long time, that she has been given a boon by Durvasa Muni that she can call any demigod. So moment Pandu hears this, that she has got the boon to call any demigod and raise the children through them, he becomes more happy, because the generation, the sons that would come from demigods will be so powerful, equal in quality to the powerful demigods. So thus he requests his wife. So previous only she has tested this mantra and she called Surya Deva. She was just testing whether it will work or not. Some mantra is given. So she tested, Surya Deva came, and seeing the beauty of Kunti Devi, demigod himself became mesmerized. And he wanted to offer her a gift, and Karna is born. So Karna was born from the ears of Karna, ears of Kunti Devi, so his name was Karna. Then, of course, Kunti Devi then sets him as, leaves him because it will affect her social status. Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Shri Nitaya Gaurang ki jai. So now that opportunity has come again. So first Pandu decides that let her call Dharmaraj. So immediately she calls Dharmaraj. Dharmaraj accepts the proposal and Yudhishthira is born. Pandu becomes very happy. Then after 1 year again he considers one child is not enough. Let me have one more. And then he asks her, requests her to call for Vayudev. Then she calls Vayudev and Vayudev also agrees for the proposal, and through Vayudev they get Bhima, the second son. Then Pandu again considers and requests for third child. Then Kunti Devi again, this time calls Indradev, and through Indradev Arjuna was born. So Yudhishthira, son of Dharmaraj, Bhima, Vayudev, and Arjuna was Indra. So when again after 1 year Pandu requests Kunti, I want one more child. So Kunti says, no, as per Dharma, only maximum 3 times. If I do more than that, then I will not be a loyal wife. So then he thinks, and then he talks to the second wife, Madri. Madri is already upset that she is unable to have any children. And thus Madri asks, can Kunti share her boon to me? I will also beget a child like that. So then Pandu goes and requests Kunti. Madri don't want to ask directly because equals, they will not ask. So Pandu goes and requests. So Kunti agrees. She says, once I will allow. So Madri, she takes the mantra. With her mantra, Ashwini Kumara come. And she decides, let me have twins. So she has twins through Ashwini Kumaras, Nakula and Sahadeva. So after some more time, Pandu thinks, let me have one more child. So he requests Kunti, can you share that mantra again to Madri? So Kunti becomes angry. She says, see, I gave mantra once. With that, she gave birth to 2 children. If I give once again that mantra, and now again if she does something like that, she told only one child, and she misused my mantra, then she will get more children than me and she will become more powerful. I will not give. So then finally it is decided that this Pandavas, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, they settle with this. So that's how 5 Pandavas were born, and later on they were sent to Hastinapur to be taken care by Dhritarashtra. Meanwhile, Pandu, in one occasion, he becomes he becomes influenced by Cupid and wants to enjoy with Madri, and in that particular instance, he dies. Seeing her dead husband, because she was very greedy to enjoy her husband, and because of her cause, her husband is dead, Madri also commits sati. Kunti Devi also wants to commit, but then she has responsibility of taking care of 5 more children. 5 children are there. So thus she continues her life. In spite of her great love for her husband, already she is half dead because her husband is gone. But as a matter of duty, she continues to live to take care of the 5 children. So that is the entire story of Kunti Devi. Her entire life is sacrifice. Otherwise she wanted to die. That is the position of a woman in the Vedic culture. A woman is attached to her father or her husband or her son. Always deeply attached, especially to her husband. And Prabhupada uses, a faithful wife cannot live without her Lord. For a wife, her Lord is her husband. And therefore all widows used to voluntarily embrace the burning fire which consumed the dead husband. So the fire of separation of husband was so intense, was so severe, that it is better to die in the fire of where the husband is being burnt. That was so intense. Just like if there are suppose 2 pains, one pain is more severe, the other pain will appear very less, and that is easy, we will think. So the wives, the emotional fire, that attachment they had, that separation, they could not bear that separation. That pain of separation is so much that they could easily bear the pain of getting burnt into the fire. That much, you cannot imagine even what kind of a love wife and husband had those days. So, of course, today it cannot be applied because similar kind of emotions are not there. If they are ready to kill also now. Nowadays that is the case. But earlier it was not like this. So we have seen there are some principles, Vedic rituals, which have become obsolete now, which cannot be implemented now. And as per time, place and circumstances, they have all become abandoned. Even the dowry system. The system of dowry is the father wants to gift his daughter, while for her marriage, so that her marriage becomes very comfortable with all the gifts. He sends thousands of servants, so many gold he gives. It is as a heartful love for his daughter. Today it has become a rule. That matching is made, how much dowry you give, then only. But it is not a force. It has become a force. Earlier it was not a force. Father voluntarily gives. Okay, I want to give my daughter this much. Of course, nowadays it is like a status. If the boy is engineer, this much dowry. If boy is doctor, this much dowry. So similar, this also get abolished slowly. Dowry. Already it is controversial. It is not a law anymore. So, like this, the sensitivities and culture of the society has changed. As the human beings, their culture is changing, the sensitivities are changing. So those principles cannot be applied in the current scenario. That is especially under the influence of Kali Yuga. So here the description, Vidura is describing Kunti's great qualities. Pṛthā Pṛthāpi adriyate, Pṛthāpi driyate arbaka arte. Arbaka, children. Only for the sake of children she lived. She bore her life. She bears her life. She don't want to live. It is a burden for her to live. But still, only for the sake of children she is living. Rajarshi Varnyena Vinapitena. King Pāṇḍu, without him she cannot live. Yastveka Viro Adhirato Vijigge. And who is Pāṇḍu? He was a Adhirataha. He was a commander, great commander, who conquered Dhanur Dvitiyaha Kakubascha Chatasraha, who conquered the whole world very powerfully. So that was the qualification, that was the great quality of Pāṇḍu, and that was the great quality of Kunti Devi. Kunti Devi, her original father is Shurasena, but she was adopted by Kunti Bhoja. So therefore she was called as Kunti Devi. This news that Kunti Devi gave birth to Yudhishthira first reached Hastinapur. So Gandhari becomes very upset. Gandhari was also blessed by Vyasadeva because of her service to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva blesses, you will get 100 sons. So she is wearing an embryo which is supposed to give birth to a child before Yudhishthira. But she is not conceiving. For many, many months passed by, she is not conceiving. So out of frustration, she actually hits her own stomach. Because she is thinking, if I have my son before Yudhishthira, then naturally he becomes the successor. But it doesn't happen, so she beats her own stomach, her own womb, and a dead flesh comes out. Now she is very upset, thinking of Vyasadeva, his prediction is not going to come true. So she calls for Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva comes and says, whatever I have said has to happen. It cannot go wrong. So thus he takes that lump to his ashram, puts 100 pots and divides that lump into 100 pots, and one by one, from those 100 pots are actually born these 100 Kauravas. So 100 Kauravas and 5 Pandavas. And 5 Pandavas born from the demigods. They are not ordinary people. The characters in Mahabharata are all exceptional, great people, and they are all part of the Supreme Lord's pastime. Any questions? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की